It's the third round, I'm 1 out of 2, I need to make a lot of points, and I need to win against 1700 if I want to become CM. So let's see how the game goes. Never played with her, but one of my friends did and told me that she plays e4 or d4. So like, I can't even imagine what is going to happen. And she played e4. Now, if someone plays e4, honestly, I'm pretty happy because I can play the French defense, as simple as that. So if you want to beat me in the next turn, play with d4. And I mean, I also have the same Slav though, so it's not that if you play d4 you win, but e4, this is the French, you know. The French is kind of unbeatable. And she plays d4 and I play d5, the French defense, main line, d4, d5. Now, there are other ways to fight the French defense. Instead of playing d4, you could actually play d3, which is really annoying, or queen on e2. Luckily, this is the main line, I know this pretty well. I also like this a lot, so no problem. And she plays the Tarrasch. Nowadays, I swear to God, online everyone plays the Tarrasch against the French. I also play the Tarrasch against the French. The Tarrasch is a really good line, but in my opinion there is a confutation. And if black plays this, usually a lot of times he at least gets it though. I mean, there are other lines, you could play knight on f6 and get destroyed, you know. It's the main line, but I wouldn't suggest that. You could also play c5. I used to play c5, but then that leads to middle game that are better for white, and black has, I mean, some difficulties. But if you just take the pawn, you have zero problems. You take the pawn, knight take, and now that's the important move. You play knight on b8 to d7. Now, this is the Rubinstein variation, and it also say that is the black-pawn defense. I don't know, this is the Rubinstein variation, okay? Let's say this. And I have a point. I developed the knight on d7, because I want to develop this knight on f6, knight take, and I take back with the knight. I don't want to take with the queen, because the queen will be a target. And this looks a bit dumb, but actually makes a ton of sense. She develops the knight on f3, which makes sense, and now, as I said, I have knight on f6, and now you can take or play bishop on d3, the position transpose, just change the number of moves, but the position then is the same. So bishop on d3, knight take, bishop take, and I did this in order to gain a tempo on the bishop and developing the knight. So the bishop has to move, and this is the position of the Rubinstein variation. Is a position that you always get, like 9 out of 10, you get a position like this. And now a really important move to play, you could play b6. Looking now at the database, this position was reached 177 times, and almost 70 times they played b6, and black has a 46 winning percentage against 43 for white. But I play c5, which is also a move, and black also has a really high winning percentage with c5, and c5 has a point. Pretty good one. If you take my pawn, I just develop the bishop. My position is pretty active. I would also say maybe a bit better than yours. I mean, computer does not agree because white is up in development just by one move. But I mean, this bishop is going to be pretty good. I also have ideas of b6, bishop on b7. I mean, makes a lot of sense. So usually people do not take, and they just castle or they play c3. Now, I don't love c3. And that's the move she played. After c3, you just get a weak isolated pawn. So, I mean, you could take with the knight. Stockfish is actually suggesting to take with the knight, so in that case it kind of makes sense, but then your knight just becomes a target. She decided to take with the pawn, and I mean, now this pawn is just a target. Now the main move is bishop b4 check. Didn't know that. Didn't know that. Here my theory knowledge just stops. And you give this check. And the line that Stockfish is suggesting is king on f1 that I don't think a human being will play. This position was reached just one time and they played d2, bishop on d2. And then he says to take the bishop or just play bishop on e7. Take the bishop, queen take. And what? Castle. So this way you give the bishop, but you are kind of up in development now. I mean, you castle first, then you develop the bishop on this side. You are supposed to be better. I mean, I that's Stockfish, but I played bishop on d6 instead. That says it's inaccurate. How are you going to punish this? I have no clue. Like, okay, if you manage to play bishop on g5, I kinda get this. Although there is a really similar position, and I thought the idea was the same. Apparently, it's not. But if you play bishop on g5, just play queen on c7. No, now he's saying queen on a5. Yeah, queen on a5 it's also a thing, but let's say queen on c7. And if you take, I take, you know, rook on g1 ideas. I mean, usually work if white has already castled. If white still has to castle, actually doesn't make a lot of sense. But let's say I play waiting move, then they castle and I play queen on c7. I think that makes sense. But yeah, in this position, she decided to castle. And as I said, I mean, the only thing that could be a problem, that could lead to some complication, is bishop on g5. So I was like, why don't I prevent that? And it makes sense. It makes sense. Now, white can play knight on e5. I thought it was maybe a bit too fast. It's playable. And I mean, black is completely fine. She played queen on b3. And I can't explain queen on b3, honestly. Queen on b3 doesn't make any sense. Because now that I played h6, there is only this square to put your bishop, which is this, which is b2. You want to think it to this bishop, I'm sure. I'm just sure you want to think it to the bishop. And if you play queen on b3, you just can't. You're going to develop the bishop on d2. So this doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, in this position, I just played e6. Like, if I castle, you are not going to put pressure on the f7 pawn. Okay, you have pressure on the b7 pawn, but the point of this opening is that I want to think it to my bishop too. So I'm just going to play b6, and after that, what? So yeah, queen on b3 doesn't make a lot of sense. And I just castle. And black is better now, because you have a really misplaced queen, and this bishop is just bad. It's just bad now, it doesn't make any sense. My bishop is going to be pretty good. h6, I think that was a good move. It's not the best move for theory, but you know, you don't always have to play the best move. You just have to play a logical move that allow you to play a really good position. So h6 makes a lot of sense. So since she can't think it to the bishop, she develops the bishop on d2. And now b6. b6 because, as I said, I just want to think it to the bishop. And this bishop will actually be a monster. Also, I might also threaten to take the knight and damage your structure. Why not? Makes sense. I move the knight and then I play, I don't know, queen on g5, queen on h4. She puts the knight on e5. Now, kinda makes sense. Again, maybe it's, I don't know, a bit too much because could be a target. You know, this pawn is kinda weak. If I play this, okay, you want to play f4? But I don't know, in this position I just played bishop on b7, I mean, why not? My bishop now is just a monster, is just a monster, honestly. If I play rook on c8, rook take, I take, she develops a rook, so that's the best move, but I don't really understand why. Like, let's say I play this, just take, okay, queen take, queen b8, oh, queen b8. B8, F4. queen a8 or queen d8 because you want to get that. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. But I was afraid of that, so for this reason I just played knight on d5. Now, knight d5 has a point, and I almost calculated this well. So I play knight on d5, and as you can see, you could actually play knight on c6, but and she played knight on c6. Black is better, and I knew that. Because playing this move is true that you attack my queen. But the point of moving the knight was just to free this diagonal. So I move the knight, I free the diagonal, and I play queen on h4. Queen on h4 makes a lot of sense. I'm first of all threatening mate, so you need to prevent that. You need to play g3 or h3 so to weaken the king side. And yeah, this knight just doesn't make a ton of sense now, in my opinion. Just what is the point? Okay, you played knight on c6 and what? Can't go there. Yeah, it's kinda good, but it's not even threatening a lot, you know. So she played h3, which is a mistake. Yeah, g3 makes more sense considering that I have a square bishop. Now this is really weak. So yeah, g3 makes more sense. Also g3 prevents the knight from getting in. And now black is winning if he finds rook a to c8. Didn't find that, but let's see what happens. We play this, the knight is under attack, but the point is that you have a knight on a5. Oh, bishop on a8. Oh, that's the point. That's the point. Stupid. Bishop on a8, wow. Yeah, in this position, because I calculated this, and in this position I played rook f. Rook f on c8. And why rook f on c8? Ah, because I was like, if I play this, just take the pawn. Can you actually take the pawn? Knight on f4. So apparently your attack is much stronger. So you don't even care, you just play knight on f4. Knight on f4 is crazy. I guess you can't take the rook. Queen on g5 and good luck. Good lord. Yeah. And so you can take that. So for this reason, I mean, I told you could have just taken the pawn. So I just played rook f on c8. And I was saying I kinda calculated well because I honestly missed this. I mean, in this position, I thought I was winning. Because just knight move somewhere, let's say knight take, and I have a ton of pressure and somehow I win. But you have knight on a5. Knight on a5, so if I take, queen take. Now still black stand better because you can actually take. After you take, queen take. And rook c on b8. I saw this line. And I thought it was pretty scary, like what if they play queen on d7? Apparently, I just have queen takes on d4. Yeah, I mean, a human, I saw queen on d7 and I was like, no way this works. I mean, it's too complicated. So I didn't really want to take the knight, honestly, and that makes sense. So instead of doing that, I saw another line, which is still playable, but is not tremendously good. So I just take, rook take, and now I have bishop on f4, which again, for some reason, apparently is really, really good. I think because I still have ideas of queen on g5. But the point of doing this is that I just free the square and I can play a move that it's bad looking, although actually makes a lot of sense and is kind of an advanced move. I really like this move when I played it. Bishop on c8, just basically saying, I'm not going to give you the bishop, You need to waste the time moving the knight, and after that, I still have a strong attack going on. And I mean, I can evaluate the position well. It's not easy to play bishop on c8 and say, yeah, I think I'm still better, but that's no, I'm still better. I have an attack going on. And I saw this move attacking the bishop. And my point now, which again is not the best move, I should play bishop on f8 now. I mean, I just played bishop on c8. I'm not going to play bishop on f8 too. Like, it's not that. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not a quest, just put all your pieces on your first rank. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, I played bishop on f4, and bishop on f4 makes sense. If you take... And I take with the knight, I guess. And if you play this, I take with check. Yeah, I take with the knight. I'm going to play bishop on b7 in the future. There is a lot of pressure. So taking is kind of scary. For this reason, she played bishop on e3, which looks like a mouse leap. But, you know, it's a classical game, so I don't think so. Bishop on e3. Just bishop on e3 is kind of a slow move. After she played this, I was actually really happy with my position. And, by the way, if you're wondering, can she play g3 now? No. She can't. I mean, first of all, I have queen on g5. In case I don't see something. But my idea was actually to take this pawn. Which is ground, in fact, is minus 1.5. You take. And I mean, the bishop is coming. The knight might come soon. There is pressure on this bishop, so it makes sense. And I was like, at least if this doesn't work, it's a draw. Which is true. But actually black's done better, which makes a lot of sense. So at this point I just play bishop on b7 and my position is really good. It's -2 and makes sense. My position is really good. Again, you can take for the same reason. So I calculated well. She played rook on f1. Now rook on f1 is too passive, definitely. I can't really explain that. I felt like I had the winning move, which is true. I had the winning move, but I couldn't find that. I thought about everything. I thought about knight takes on e3. I didn't think about rook on c8. Rook on c8, I can't even explain that. But knight takes on e3. And now if you take with the knight, let's see. If you take with the knight, queen g5. Queen g5, yeah, makes sense. Double pressure on the knight. And what is the move? Queen c2 and you win a pawn apparently. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't convinced about this. Don't know why. Oh, I think, let's say, I don't know. Black plays this and I think you can actually sack the bishop, but I was like, I cannot take, because after take and take, there is bishop check and my queen is hanging, although this is check. I don't know, I kind of missed this, so yeah, my bad, totally mistake by me. And instead of playing this, I just played queen on g5 now, which again, makes sense, still putting a lot of pressure. It's not a bad move, I just had a definitely better move than that, but still makes a lot of sense. If you take with the knight and GG, you can resign, you cannot take the bishop, so it still makes sense. It's a good move, but I had something better to play. And yeah, because now I missed this move. This move is really strong. Bishop on e4, just preventing everything. Can't move the knight. Can't do anything. I can actually move the knight. And I saw this line and I thought it was losing for me. I actually thought it was losing for me. I thought knight take, bishop take. I take the rook, and what? Just lose? I missed in this position that I had bishop on h2 check. Bishop on h2 check. And if king take, I have knight take rook, we check. So the king has to move. And now I can just take the rook. I totally missed this. Like, I didn't even think for a second about bishop on h2. It's so difficult to see. So I saw this line and I was like, no, this doesn't work. I need to play something else. And the move I played, I think is actually pretty logical. And gives white a lot of problems. So I think I still played well. So I played rook on d8, which is a mistake because I had the winning move. But the point of rook on d8 is, first of all, now you can't play knight on d6. You could before because, you know, if I take, I lose the queen. Now you can't. And now the knight is more defended, there is pressure there. And basically the main thing that this move does is basically saying, now it's your turn. What are you going to do now? Because if I keep playing improving moves, I'm going to win. Just I play this, I might play bishop on a8, and then I could actually take, you know. That's a problem for you. So now you need to play actively, you need to play something good. And she decided to take. I took. Obviously, I need to take with the queen, otherwise I just lose a piece. The bishop is hanging, and she played queen on f3. Now, I'm happy about my next move. Really getting better with understanding the position. Like, I'm not the god of calculation, but I play instinctively, and I starting to get really good at evaluating the position. I thought this was a mistake, because I just take the queen, bishop take, and now you are basically already lost. Because I have bishop on a6. So I played the queen. But my pieces are so active, are so good, that I'm going to win in the long run. And I was right. Bishop on a6, the knight is pinned. If you move the knight, you lose the rook. You have b3. But I have rook on c8. And if you play rook on c1, I have b5 and gg. You can just resign, you lose a piece. And if you play bishop on e2, I have knight on f4. She played a really good move though. She played rook on e1. Rook on e1 has a point, because let's say I take the knight, pawn take, I take, bishop take, I take, rook check, king move, and rook on e7. And I'm going to lose one of these pawns. So this is the line. Take, 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 bishop take, take, rook check, and go there, and this. Now, I had a feeling this might have been winning for black. But I saw this position from the distance and I was like, I don't know, okay, I can push this pawn, but I'm going to lose this. Actually though, I can win this. So again, I miscalculated that. I need to get better with calculation, but wasn't really completely sure about that. What I saw, I thought it was actually better. It gave me a lot more of winning chance. So in this position, I can just play knight on b4. Now, knight on b4, there is knight on e5, which somehow just is really good. Because if I play this, is pinned? No. What if I play this? Look on d1, you basically say, I don't have a problem. That makes sense. Although, at this point, my opponent has like really low time. She has like some minute to think, so she's not going to play perfectly. And I tried to play on time, which again is not a thing that you should really do. Although in this endgame I felt really sure about what I was doing. Like my plan are kinda obvious, like kinda easy to see. So this time kind of makes sense what I did. And also, since I learned something from the last game, that I should think more. It's good that I'm playing faster, but in this position I'm thinking. Like, I'm playing faster, but in order to play this move, like, I took a lot of time just to think, like 5 minutes or more. Like, you might say it's not a lot of time. For me it is. I don't think too much, honestly. So yeah. And she played 8-3. Now 8-3 was a mistake. I saw this move because this time I had to Lito instead of just playing fast. I saw this move and I can just play knight on c2. And what are you going to do? If you play rook on d1, just take your knight and win this or win this and GG. And she plays rook on d1, exactly, and now I can just take, rook take. I'm up a pawn, and it's not only that. This pawn is not easy to defend. And this pawn is hanging. What are you going to do now? Now she played a good move. This pawn is hanging, but you can just push, and it's basically defended. I mean, you basically played pawns. I just take, which is a mistake. Instead of doing that, what? Knight on d4. Yeah, knight on d4 attacking the bishop. Now I'm playing faster, and in fact, you can see that these are not really good moves by me. And again, I should think more. I agree on that. So, before you tell me in the comment, you should think more. I know, just I know. And I take, rook take. Luckily, so that at this point I have a defense, so it's like, it's not a defense, but I don't really want to allow my rook to get in, so I can just play rook on d4, which is a really good move. You don't want to play rooks, otherwise it's bishop versus knight and I'm up a pawn. You don't have, I mean, she has like 1 or 2 minutes to think. Bishop versus knight in an angle, like, you can already resign. The knight is too tricky. I'm up a pawn. All my pawns are on that square too, so you're basically playing without the piece 2. You're just basically using the king. So it's not a really good position for you if you trade. So she moves the rook, and obviously king on f8, because, you know, don't really want to allow this. She plays bishop on c6, and now you see why you should think. Because I don't know how strong you are, but you probably might hang mate in this position. You probably might. She's threatening mate. And that's the only trick remaining. I mean, it's not even a trick, just one move that. And I can play rook on d8, defending everything. a4. a4 is a sort of minority attack. You want to play this pawn. I didn't like this move, because if you play this pawn, I actually have just a pass pawn and 0 problems. But yeah. Now I try to rev out the knight, attacking the bishop, you know, gaining sometimes. Should play rook on e8. Again, this is not a clean endgame, because I'm just trying to play faster. I'm not going to lose all of my advantage, obviously, even if I'm playing faster. I mean, it's not that I'm playing so bad, but should really think more. Yeah, now for example, king on e7, I don't know, I just without in the knight, attacking pieces, trying to wait till something decent happen. Now I played rook on b8. Rook on b8 makes sense, I just threatening to push in the future. So she take, oh no, she played bishop on c6. Okay, now just trying to leave without stuff. Okay, and now she took the pawn. I take, and now I have a clean pass pawn. This is a winning position for black. I just have to play decently. So she leave without the bishop, and again, this is just one move that, first of all, it might be better to move the knight, you know, otherwise you lose it. One move that, f6. Now she played this, and I'm really happy with my next move. I'm getting better with endgames, luckily. Months ago, endgames were my weakness. Now I'm getting confident with endgame, finally. And I play king on e7. King on e7, I'm basically using every piece I have. These two pieces are not scary. I mean, I'm not getting mated. My king is more active than yours. This pawn is really far from your king, so I know for a fact that this is a winning endgame. I just have to play precisely. She moves the bishop. Yeah, she has low time. I mean, now, this is a mistake for me. Just allow b5 with tempo. Doesn't make any sense. She checks me, which again, it's another mistake. Just, my king is getting more active. Doesn't make sense, but she has like 1 minute to think. And now she played bishop on b3. And again, I'm getting better with evaluating positions. What I want to do in this position, just trade. I take your bishop, you take. And guess what? This king is 10 times better than this king. This king is coming, going to gain times on your rook, going to push and GG. The pawn is protected by the rook, so I played the rook on b8, which was a really good move. Now the pawn is protected. I have zero problems. I just have to move the king, basically. You see, now I'm gaining a time, so I can move the king again or just push the pawn. Both of them are more than fine. She played this, and now be careful. I don't want to allow the king from getting in. So I just play king on c3. And if you play king on d1, I just check you. And you are cut off. She checked me, and now just king on b2. Killing a time on the rook again. It's true that the king is blocking the pawn, but in the future, don't worry, I'm going to make a queen. That's not a problem. She moves the rook, attacking the pawn, just push the pawn. Zero problems. She played this, and now you have to be precise in the endgames. I don't want the king to get in, and I just play rook on d8. Now the king is cut off again. She just basically wasted full time. And now I can play king on a3, which, yeah, the screw might have been better. I just played king on b1 because I have a point. I want to reach the Philidor position. And if you don't know what the Philidor position is, I'm going to show you pretty soon. So I play this, and this is basically the Philidor position. My king is on the promotion square of the pawn. This king is far from the pawn. And my plan to win is just to move this rook on my 4th rank. If I can do that, I win. And why? And now I'll show you. She decided to push the pawn, I don't know why, and now I just play this, and this is completely winning. I miss a much faster move, which is, yeah, rook on b8, obviously. But yeah, this also makes sense. She took the pawn, and now the Philidor position is that at this point, I just move the king. And if you check me, I move. You can check me again. I move. If you like do nothing, I'm going to do this and win anyway. And if you check me again, I play this. And after you check me, there is rook on b5 blocking everything, and I'm going to make a queen. And in this position, my opponent resigned. This was a clean game against a 1700, and as you can see, I'm getting really confident, but there are still 2 games that have to be played. So stay tuned and see you with the first round of the tournament.